We are family everywhere, a Dutch family. In 2021, we traded our brick house for a house on wheels, and our hectic life for one with lots of freedom and adventure. We traveled through Europe, we crossed Canada, went all the way to Alaska, and made our way south towards Argentina. At the time this video goes online, we are already in South America. But before we share all these incredible adventures, we go back to our first year in Northern America. Let us take you into our life full of adventure, with highs and lows, but above all, to the most beautiful places in the world. Just after the start of driving the Kebler Pass in Colorado, there was a short moment where we thought, there are so many pine trees here, we had hoped to see more aspens. But it only took a few kilometers before we were blown away by this amazing bright yellow aspen valley.
Ga je weer wandelen?
Ja.
Ja.
We drove downhill to the start of a short hiking trail. And what a start of a day! We only drove a few kilometers and were already surrounded by this fairy tale autumn.
Wat gebeurt er, Nienke? Het regent bladeren. Wauw.
Autumn was always our favorite season, but seeing these colors all coming together in this beautiful landscape really exceeds all of our expectations. Somewhere in the afternoon, we found ourselves a nice spot for the night.
Today we drove the Kebler Pass, an unpaved road. We stopped at a lake where we made a nice hike. And those aspens, they are so yellow everywhere you look. Well, for the exception of pine trees, of course. But those colors, so vibrant and yellow, and it's just fantastic.
The next morning we didn't drive long. It was only a few kilometer drive to the start of a hiking trail to 3 lakes. We have 2 amazing hikers, but they are also hungry all day. So after 200 meters we already had our first break.
Hey Nienke, are we making a nice hike today?
Yeah.
Yes?
A really long.
A really long one?
Yeah.
And how many lakes did we saw already?
2
2 lakes. And we are going to the?
turn lake.
To the 3rd lake. Yes. And did we see animals on the trail?
Yes.
What animals did we saw?
Eagle.
An eagle and
Chipmunks.
chipmunks. Hey ladies,
Yeah.
are we having fun?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and one gentleman too.
Yeah.
And about wild camping, there couldn't be a more scenic spot than the one we stayed this night. And after making some fresh bread and a relaxed morning, we hit the road again. As we are heading north, the landscape changed and the yellow colors more or less disappeared. But before we are driving to the next spectacular pass, we first made a dive into this really nice and warm hot spring. And after Pascal had his spa night, we drove on to the spectacular Independence Pass. Just after the start, we took a right turn through a ghost town named Ashcroft. The town was founded in 1880 as Castle Fork City, when 2 Leadville miners left in search of silver in the Castle Creek Valley. After finding the silver, the town blew up. In 2 weeks, the town had a courthouse and streets laid out. It was renamed to Ashcroft in 1882, and a year later it had 13 saloons and 2,000 residents.
Hey, we staan nog een bed. Hey! Ik kom naar boven met de trap. That Kebler Pass, that was fantastic, wasn't it? Those colors, it was absolutely amazing. In the meantime, we drove the Independence Pass, the first part of it, to Aspen, where we are visiting a ghost town called Ashcroft. It's nice, yeah, it's nice, but to be honest, I'm really happy that we visit the Animus Forks ghost town the other day. When you missed that, it was in our last video. Yeah, I like that more. I don't know how it's situated, and there were much more details to see. You see a mine shaft, what is all fallen apart, and yeah, I don't know. I can't explain really why, but I like that ghost town much more. So if you do have the vehicle to go there, you should definitely visit that ghost town.
The next day, we took a bus and another bus to a shuttle bus, which we had to book several days in advance. We had serious doubts if we even wanted to see this incredible busy tourist spot, the Maroon Bells. It's beautiful all year round, but now in the peak of the autumn, it's absolutely gorgeous. And since we already paid $52 to get here, we might as well spend the whole day and explore all its surroundings. We had a fantastic day, and despite the fully loaded shuttle buses, it felt less crowded than we expected it to be.
Are you ready? I am ready.
Then we continued our way over the Independence Pass. The last days, people made us a bit insecure over driving this pass with our big vehicle. But since we were even shorter than the maximum allowed length, of course we just drove it. And yes, during the drive we understand it why people are a bit concerned. But since they made the most narrow part a one-lane drive, it's really doable, even with a bigger vehicle. And then we drove out of the autumn colors and only saw pine trees and snow, lots of snow. And since we are driving to an elevation of almost 3,700 meters, we are at a certain point above the tree line. At the end of the Independence Pass, we arrived at the Twin Lakes, where we found a nice place for the night. Unfortunately, it was very windy, a bit too windy to make proper drone shots that would justify this idyllic surrounding. In the early morning, we took a right turn to the Western Pass, a well-maintained and so a smooth gravel road. At least, that's what we thought it would be. The truth was far from that. It started as a narrow and bumpy trail, and we were really relieved that we didn't saw someone else, because passing another vehicle here would have been very challenging. It took us hours to drive this 30-kilometer trail, and although the sceneries were amazing, not everyone was having a lot of fun on this bumpy trail.
Er is een kindzoek en deze jongen weet er meer van, maar hij wil het niet vertellen.
Hobbelt het een beetje?
Ja.
Is
De
leuk?
agent deed 3 grote...
Then the wind picked up, and how? At the Western Pass summit, at 3,600 meters of elevation, we even dislocated our door by opening it. The plan was to spend the night at one of the many nice spots along the road, but the bad wind made us decide to continue driving. So even though we were done driving for the day, we drove onto another gravel road, the Boreas Pass. Luckily, this pass was in a good condition, so we could keep a little speed. And even though we are not really far from the Kebler Pass, where we were just a few days earlier, the winter already started here. What we heard later was that there was much more rain in the Kebler Pass area, which makes that the trees hold their leaves much longer. There was still a lot of wind, but after driving the whole day we were exhausted and just parked at the first suitable place next to the road. Now we could also check the damage of our door. The next day we drove up to the summit of the Boreas Pass, which was full of history. And while driving to the Colorado National Monument, the landscape drastically changed. You can feel Utah is getting closer. The drive through this red landscape was beautiful, and we stopped at several viewpoints and made short walks. From the campsite, we made one last hike along the rim. We really enjoyed the red rock landscape and already looking forward to our time in Utah, where we will be in a few days. Technically, it was only a short drive to the state border of Utah, but we saw there was also a detour on a nice backcountry road. And guess which road we took? We found this quiet and peaceful spot to camp, where we stayed for a couple of nights. We did some chores and had some rest, while the overwhelming experiences of Colorado could sink in. We explored Colorado for a month, and we fell in love on this beautiful state. Ready for more adventures in Utah, we drove on. And this is what we love about our vehicle. We can drive these less traveled roads, which often lead us to incredible, beautiful landscapes. I don't know when we officially crossed the border of Utah, but when we saw these views, we knew. And what a great time did we have in Utah. Be prepared for the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up, and we would love to hear from you in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to not miss any of our adventures. See you next time.